Hi, my name is Whitney Q. I am a content creator, and one word to describe me is bubbly.
Hi everyone, my name is Toyin. I currently work in financial services regulation, and I think one word that would describe me is energetic.
Hi everyone, I'm Tiwa. I'm a confidence coach, and one word that will describe me is confident.
For the first episode, I decided to ask everybody a question from this wonderful pack. Actually, I've got so many of these packs. I don't know if you've seen these packs online. We're not really strangers. I've got so many. Does everybody know about them? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, it's a relationship. It's not just about relationships. It's also family. You can do it with everybody, and it's just questions to help you get to know each other better. So I did this. Oh, the stain. I did this for the first group. I asked them 2 questions, but I'm going to ask us 2 questions. And the first one is, what brought you the most unexpected joy recently? Does everybody see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I know it's deep. I think this is level 2, so this is the deep one. Maybe I can start. Okay, what brought me some unexpected joy this week was so on one of the podcasts that we do for work, we have reached 200 million downloads for one of the podcasts, and because of that, I've only been there for a month, so it's nothing to do with me. But because of that, at the end of the episode, they wanted everybody in the team to give a vote of thanks. So, they said everybody's name, and we said, thank you, which is amazing, because it's just like, I've only been there for a month and I'm part of it. But it wasn't that was the amazing, joyful moment. It was that somebody DM'd me on Twitter and said, hi, I heard you on, the podcast. It's so great to hear a Nigerian name. And it was just like, wow, that brought me a lot of joy, because it just made me realize how much representation matters. So that brought me a lot of joy. So yeah, that's mine.
Love it.
It's very, very good. Well done, Abisoye.
I've experienced joy this week, but it hasn't really been unexpected, because I've been very intentional about having joy in my life. So I know the things that bring me joy, and I make sure I'm doing them. So like, I bought a new candle, a Yankee candle, a Christmas scent, and oh my gosh, I'm just so happy because it smells so good. And like, okay, maybe I guess that was unexpected. I didn't know it was gonna smell that good, and it did, and I was like, wow, this is blowing my mind. So I'll say that, like, I know what brings me joy, and I've been doing those things, but I guess something that also brings me joy is like when I get a message as well from someone who's just listened to my podcast. And like, I'm never expecting the messages. So when they do come and they're telling me how, oh, this episode really helped them think about something new, or this episode really changed their life or helped them overcome their low self-esteem, that brings me a lot of joy as well.
I love that.
My one is just a bit silly, but it brought me joy anyway. I'm an extrovert. I'm someone that likes to go out. So you can imagine how this year has had a huge effect on me. Literally stay in my room and work. No, my office is opening up again, and I'm so happy about much of an extrovert. Until I was like, yeah, I'm an extrovert. But when I was actually challenged to stay indoors, and the NHS kept on messaging me saying, stay indoors, you're not allowed to go out, it really, really affected on my well-being and my mental health. And I realized that I'm genuinely someone that likes to go out. So me going to work, being able to walk to work or get on the bus to work, is something that has brought me unexpected joy. The email came through yesterday, and I was like, yes, I get to go into the office. And you think that that's so weird, that it was like, oh, I love working from home, but I like to get up in the morning, I like to get ready, I like to leave the house, I like to see things, I like to see the world, and come back and know that this is my room of rest and not a place whereby I'm working from my room. I've separated the two entities. So that's something that brought me unexpected joy. I didn't know that I'll be that happy that the office was going to open up again next week.
That is not silly at all.
Like, I'm working working from home. I love working from home. I could be. I'm like, but I like to get up and get ready and leave the house. I won't be on time though. That's not gonna happen. That's not. I'm gonna be doing my emails on the bus or when I'm walking, but I will be going to the office.
What about you, Toyin?
I would say, like Tiwa, not really unexpected, but I think it was basically like a first-time mum that kind of reached out to me, and she was really feeling like really sad about something, and I think the fact that I was able to share my experience with her like made her feel like she wasn't alone, kind of thing, which to me was just amazing, because with me, like when I had my first child, like I was the only one in my friendship group that had a child at that time. So like how I was feeling, I kind of felt alone, because it was like there was no one that I could talk to who was like a recent mum. Aunties, they've had their kids like, you know, ages ago, so they can't really relate to what it's like being a first time mum in that, at the stage that you're at. So the fact that she was just so happy. She's like, oh my gosh, thank you so much, Toyin. I'm gonna make some time to call you because I really want to speak to you about it. And it's just like that really, really touched my heart, because honestly, being a first-time mum can be so challenging. And I mean, this girl had recently just given birth, so she's not like a first-time mum and it's like month 3. It was literally like week 2. Do you know what I mean? So I think that really brought me a lot of joy, the fact that I was able to help someone. You know, yeah.
Oh, thank you, ladies. That was lovely. So we've got 15 minutes to discuss one of these topics on the side here. So we've got best friends, which is to do with connections, the word broke, which is money management, family relationships, single relationships. I had to put single there. And cool, which is like, you know, part of the cool gang, maybe popularity, acceptance.
Mm-hmm.
Are any standing out to you at this moment in time?
All of them. I relate to them all.
Same.
Is there one maybe that we can tackle first? Which one?
I guess one that's like standing out to me most is best friend and connections, because I've had a lot. Been having a lot of conversations about growing apart and friendship breakups and like things like that. So I would love to like, yeah, get you guys' opinion and hear what you have to say as well. So I think that one for me.
I think single relationships. I like that because yeah, there's this taboo around being single.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm engaged now. But I really
Congratulations.
my single time when I was. Oh, thank you. Yeah. I really appreciate my single time, and I really wished that there was not so much pressure that you have to get married, you have to get married, you have to get married, and there's something wrong with being single when there's absolutely being single. I think is one of the best seasons that you can have to grow into the person that you want to be before you join with somebody else. So I think we should touch on that topic.
Okay. So the first topic, I'm in agreement with both of you. So I think we'll start with best friend, and the second topic will be single. So if we are looking at the word best friend, I think Tiwa, you've touched on basically what will have. I think we're all around the same age group, 25 plus. There's been a shift with this word best friend, but when you were a teenager, what did that word mean to you?
Best friend as a teenager kind of meant like the friend you trust the most, the friend you do everything with, the friend whose house you go over to for sleepovers. Best friend is like sister, like, you know, that's the person you want to spend the most of your time with. The person you feel like you should know every single thing about them, you know, and if there's something you don't know about them, then it's like, oh, drama, I'm your best friend and I don't know this. So yeah, that's when I think of my teenage self and best friends, that's what I would say.
Yeah, I agree with Tiwa in terms of best friend. It's just that one person that you go to, you can be on a phone with them for hours. You know their mom, you know their family. You go to events together. I think as a teenager, you may even wear the same outfits. You have the same style. You know, you just like go shopping. Remember, like when online shopping wasn't a thing, you actually go out shopping with your best friend, and then you get their opinion. You try on clothes. If you have like relationship woes, I don't know why I was in a relationship as a teenager, but hey, but if you have any relationship woes, you would tell your best friend everything. So as a teenager, it's like your best friend is just that one person that you can go to. You go to the club with, you do everything with them, and you know everything about them. And as Tiwa says, that your sister, you don't really see them as someone that is just a friend, they're your best friend, and everybody would know that that's your best friend. Everybody, it must be known that this person is my best friend, and no one else is allowed to be that person's best friend. No, it's just me and you. That's it. As a teenager, it's quite. If I think about it, it's quite toxic now. If I'm thinking about it in my adult years, that's quite a toxic relationship. It's not a healthy relationship. You feel like you have to tell them everything and anything, and if you don't tell them, you have to tell them. If they find it from elsewhere, we're not friends anymore. I don't want to be your friend anymore, and then it's like a big blowout. So yeah, it's not. I don't think it's a really healthy relationship. I don't know about the teenagers these days and how they navigate with best friends, especially with social media. I'm sure it's very, very different to when I was a teenager. But yeah, that's how I will view best friend as in my teenage years.
Okay, yeah, I agree with you. And I remember, like, my best friend, most people thought, like, they were like, are you guys lesbians? Like, it was just so, you're just so close. You're just so close. And I really love what you said, Whitney, about it being a bit too, like, toxic. And I think it's like very in your face, like, you have to be with each other. If the other person's not there, it's like when you're in a relationship, they're like, oh, you go to somewhere and they're like, oh, how is so and so? It's like there's no difference. Like, it's just you guys. But one thing, literally, you're one. But one thing I actually find so interesting is when I look at how I develop friends now and how I developed best friends then, like, you would create best friends through, oh, we just like the same things, or we're just in the same, you find yourself in the same, what did you say?
The same environment. So you tend to find friends in school. So it doesn't mean that you're friends with them because you want to be friends with them, but you're just in the same environment. You see them every single day. So it just makes sense for you to be best friends.
Exactly.
You have one thing like that's super in common with that person, and you just think like, oh my gosh, we have the same favorite singer. It's fate. Like, we are best friends.
Literally. And I don't know how you have found it. I think it would be great to hear, like, how have you found, or have you been able to keep your best friends, or the friends that you found, who you thought were your best friends over the years, or how have you found like the dynamics have changed, or if they have changed from life experiences that you've had?
I think one of my kind of like best friends is still one of my best friends now. We went to the same primary school and things like that. We were in the same class. We actually fell out at a point, and then we became best friends again when we were in the same class again. So it's like, it's exactly what we were talking about, like, you're best friends because you're in the same environment, and then when you're no longer best in the same environment, it's like, ooh, there's a shift. And then when you're back in the same place, like, oh, you're best friends again. But now as adults, we're actually best friends still. But then I've had people who were best friends when we were younger, and now I'm just like, how was I even friends with this person? Like, we're so different, right? So I think I still have a lot of my childhood friends from when I was like 12, 13 type of thing. But I also have a lot of new friends, which I love.
And that's the thing we'll touch on, like, element of new friends. Like, how, because I remember when Drake was saying no new friends, we were all there with our best friends, like, no new friends, no new friends, and how times have changed. But Whitney, what about you? How have you found your relationship?
So I am still pretty close. Well, primary school, not so much, kind of lose touch. And then secondary school, I have one friend that I'm still close with. I met her in year 7. We wasn't actually in the same class, but we lived near each other and we used to go to school together. So I guess that was our bond, our commute. I didn't know what was commute then, but getting on the bus together on the way to school. And then I met another one of my close friends now in university. And then I guess I started out, you're a teenager when you start out university. And we're still really, really good, close friends up to this day. We can be on the phone for hours with each other. But there are some people that I never actually had like one best friend. I always had a lot of friends, and I had friends for like different purposes. Like if I wanted advice about a certain thing, I can go to this friend. If I wanted advice about another thing, I can go to that friend. And I've got like different circles just because I'm such a versatile person. I'm not a person that fits into one category. I have so many different types of friends. So I've always had like, with me, I've always had issues if I want to do something and this particular thing, I might invite one friend and then another friend might get offended because I have invited them, but it's not even like that. So it's like I had to spread myself thin with all these people. So now I think I've got less friends now, but I still have good relationships with people, and it's just staying connected with people. But I think the dynamics of best friends, you think that you just have to talk on the phone for hours and hours for you to say you're best friend, but when you get older, you understand that life happens and people have their own thing going on, and it's as long as you touch base, like I'm just checking in on you, how are things, and you have that one conversation maybe once a month, it doesn't bring down the value of friendship. So my dynamics
I want to like jump in on that because that's like a big debate I've been having. So that I only really learned about having friends for different things like this year when I started to see a lot of shift in my friendships. I was the kind of person where it's the one or two or three people. So I never really belonged to a clique. I was always kind of like friends with one person here and friends with another person here and another person there. So my friends kind of know each other, but they're not all necessarily friends. And being in a clique is another thing, like there are pros and cons, and we can talk about that later. But that whole understanding, okay, I have a friend for this, because when one of my friends wasn't talking to me about her business and she was talking to another friend about her business, I was like, okay, like, does that mean she's not closer to the other person than she is to me? And things like that. But actually I realized, no, you have different friends for different things based on like who's in that sphere with you and gets it and is experiencing the same challenges as you are experiencing. So I had to make sure that seeing my friends have other friends for different things and not always coming to me as that person wasn't like that they didn't love me anymore. It was just like, as you grow up, people have friends for different things, and that's just like a normal part of life. But what I have grown away from is that whole, oh, we don't talk every day, but when we see, we're great. And I'm like, I'm not sure about that one, because not that you have to talk every day, but you know, I feel like you can't call me your best friend if you only talk to me 3 times a year. Like,
I'm not best friend. No. Best friend.
You know?
Best friend is like a relationship. You have to nurture it. You have to water that garden, and you have to communicate. So I'm just talking about friends, but I still have a genuine good connection. I have some good friends that like what. It's weird because one of my really, really good friends that I grew up with, we don't talk every single day, but when we need each other, we know that you can reach out. I'm not offended that, oh, you haven't texted me in 2 weeks. Why are you hollering at me because you need something? It's not even like that. I feel that because the foundation is there and because we're secure with each other, I think that's where insecurity comes in. Like, you only want to come to me when you want something. But if you know that that love is there, I feel like the love is enough. But in terms of like best friend, I feel like that is a relationship in itself that needs to be nurtured. Sometimes if I haven't spoken to one of my best friends in like 3 days, I'll FaceTime him, be like, we haven't spoken in 3 days. I haven't seen your face in 3 days. Like, what's going on? And then we'll chat from there. So I understand, but there's friends and there's best friend. And I feel like best friends is definitely continuous communication, but then you can have old friends where you have that foundation that is set and life generally happens. You might be on different paths at the moment, but you know that the love is still there when you are in contact with each other. So I agree with you.
Oh, okay. Before we continue, because I have a question, but Toyin has entered the room. How have you found the word best friend? Do you have best friends? Is that something that you live by?
No, not really. I think even when I was younger, I never actually really had like a best friend. I think the only time I recall having a best friend per se was like in year 6, because I remember when we were like signing our leaving books and we were like, our best friends forever. Apart from that, like, no, but I do have like a circle of friends that I know I refer them as my inner circle, if that makes sense. And I love like what the girls were saying about the fact that yeah, at this stage in our life, it's not like you have to. Well, with best friends, I understand, you know, what you were saying about it's been 3 days, we haven't seen each other. But I think with friends, it should be that the love is still there, even though we're not speaking every day, kind of thing. Especially like where we're out in life. I think it's different. Like when you're at uni and stuff, you know, you're in that bubble and it's all cool. But like when you're in the real world and there's so many things competing for your attention and there's so many priorities, it's difficult. And I just don't like when it's like, you're made to feel a certain way because you haven't hollered in a week or something like that.
Yeah.
I think there should be a mutual understanding of, I love you, you love me. It's just life right now, isn't it? But we're good type of thing, not a thing of, oh, she's no longer my friend or she no longer considers me as a priority type of thing. So I definitely don't have best friends, but I definitely have like a circle of friends that I go to for different things as well. Like there's a particular friend that I go to a lot to do like career stuff. There's a particular friend I go to just like ministry and like Christianity stuff. So it's like different friends for different things. But yeah, so that's what I would say to that.
Yeah.
We said previously.
I think everyone's in agreement with that actually. And I think, okay, so how have you dealt with letting go of people that you've thought were best friends as a teenager? How did you let go? How did you do that? And now as an adult, as a grown woman, how do you deal with letting go of people who were once very close to you? Yeah. I was gonna go, but I asked the question and I was just like, damn, I can't go. So no, I was gonna say the teenager one. I found like as a teenager, letting go of people so hard, and I think there are still some people. There's still some people that I'm like, oh, I've known them for so long. I don't know how I can let go of them. I don't know because it's just they're part of my life. And I know they don't seem to be adding anything, but they did add so much. You know, they want such a big part. Like, how do you let go?
I mean, you like actually sit there and like break up. I've never broken up with a friend before. I've never said, okay, this friendship isn't working. Let's leave it as that. Usually, time and the vibe kind of lets the friendship go. And you would notice, you would know that something's off, something's not right. And then it's up to you whether you want to fight for the friendship or let the friendship go. But I do think you need to sit down and really understand that everyone keeps saying, I've known this person for years and years and years. That doesn't actually mean anything if they're not adding any value in your present life right now. It actually doesn't, it's literally quality over quantity. There is someone that you can meet yesterday and they have the best intentions for you. They're going hard for you. They're liking all your Instagram posts. They're sharing your content. They're doing everything that you want from a friend. Then you might have someone that you've known for years and they don't even do any of that. They're not adding any purpose in your life. And I think people need to understand that friendship, everything in life is for a season. It serves its purpose and you need to understand when to let go of it and not to hold on to it. Like, we shouldn't be hoarders of things. I'm like someone that likes to just get rid of it, just get rid of it, to allow new things into your life, because you might have something that's even bigger and better that comes into your life, but you are letting something old and that's expired occupy that space that a new thing can't come into your life. But I think in terms of letting go of friendship, I think now I'm in a situation whereby there's someone that I don't really want to be friends with them anymore. I'm in that situation now. But I'm just going to it's hard to break up with someone. It's hard. I think relationships is easy to break up with someone relationship, because I feel relationship is a bit more, I don't know, we are in a relationship. Whereby friendship, it doesn't say, oh, we are friends now. It happens over time. It just happens naturally. Whereby to break up with someone friendship-wise, I think it's very, very difficult. I mean, it's easy to say that you can send someone a message or call them and say that I don't want to be a friend anymore, but it's very, very, very difficult, and it might be seen as very insensitive. Me personally, as an adult, I would just kind of, let things go naturally. Maybe somebody might disagree with me, but it's just so sensitive, and the last thing you want to do is hurt someone. But if it's a case whereby someone is very, very toxic and you really want to have absolutely nothing to do with them and they're draining you, then maybe a conversation needs to be had. I think we need to remember that everything is for a season, and it's all about quality and not quantity. Not that the years mean nothing, but you can just look back and be like, oh, we had a great time then. But look in your present life and ask yourself, do you need that person in your life? That's my bit.
Oh, agree. Everything you said, Gems. I was like, preach sis. Like, so yeah, I 100% agree with that. I think when I was a teenager, it was easier to let go of friends because it's just like they just come and go. Like new ones come in, new ones go out. Like you go to a party and you bond with someone, and then all of a sudden you guys are friends now, and then it's like you're spending all your time together. And especially when you're like in boarding school and stuff, maybe you might spend half term with a friend, but when you go back to school, like it doesn't really maintain, and then you have a new circle of friends later on. But I think friendship breakups now as an adult feel a lot more painful than, you know, changing friends here and there when you're a teenager. Because I'm thinking about people I spent like every summer with. I'm just like, when we see, we're cool. But now it's like, if I really value you as a friend, it's kind of like really challenging to let go of that. And I actually had the process of learning to let go of a friend this year, and I didn't know how to do it. So I actually started listening to podcasts and things like that. And it's kind of like exactly what Whitney was saying, like it is what it is. Like you can't, if you hold on to it and you're like, oh no, but we've known each other forever and da da da. It's like we've entered a new millennium, like, you know, like it's a new decade, sorry. So there's going to be like the friends you had going into year 2000 are not the same friends you're going to have going into 2020, like, you know. And in 2010 you maybe had a shift there, and so it's kind of like understanding like it's a season, it's a decade. There are going to be new friends coming in your future that you don't even know about right now. So what I learned to do was change my focus on, oh, this person isn't showing up for me how I want, you know, she's being distant, she's being that, versus these are the friends in my life that are doing amazing things with me, or like are really just like, you know, ticking all the boxes when it comes to the kind of friendship I want, and we have a rich relationship. So celebrating what I have has allowed me to let go of what I know is no longer serving me in this season.
Love it. Yes. Yes. I like that. I'm gonna write that down.
I love it.
Celebrating what I have. Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
We need to.
I
Yeah.
really recommend a podcast, Alchemy by Ambi, or Alchemy with Ambi. And she has a whole podcast on learning to let go, because there have been so many shifts this year that people need to let go of the old stuff. And so she just talks about like chakras and like, you know, just like, so like astrology and things like that, and how you can actually learn to let go, the energy and the vibes, and learning to let go of that. And there's also like yoga practices for like letting go of negative emotions, and I did some of those things as well. So like you just release the energy so it no longer affects you.
Okay, thanks. I'll put the link for people to have a check. Okay, before we move on, is there anything else that, you know, we want to discuss on the matter of best friends before we move on? I think we've done a good job. And I think I'm ready and equipped to do what I need to do. So thank you. Thank you so much. I'll let you know.
She was my law A-level teacher, and she was saying, like, girls, I don't know why you guys feel like at 25, blah, 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 that's not how life works. In my head, I was like, God forbid, that's how my life works.